The changing DNA of crime. Europe's shocking discovery. What if I told you that criminal networks are becoming more powerful than some governments? The EU just released their 2025 crime report, and what they discovered is terrifying. Criminal organizations aren't just breaking laws, they're fundamentally changing how crime works. These aren't your grandfather's mobsters. Today's criminals are exploiting AI to create deepfakes so convincing they're fooling banks. Using professional money launderers who operate like Fortune 500 companies. And even working with hostile nations to destabilize entire countries. The scariest part, they're recruiting children through social media platforms to commit violent acts, creating a new generation of criminals. In this video, I'm diving deep into the EU's shocking findings about how organized crime is evolving into something we've never seen before. You'll discover exactly how these criminal networks operate, what techniques they're using to avoid detection, and most importantly, the 3 things everyone needs to know to protect themselves in this new criminal landscape. This isn't just interesting, it's information you can't afford to miss. What did the research found? Imagine waking up to find your bank account emptied, your identity stolen, and your personal photos being used to blackmail you, all by criminals who've never even set foot in your country. This isn't science fiction. It's happening right now across Europe. The EU's 2025 crime report revealed something unprecedented. Criminal organizations have evolved into sophisticated networks with 3 disturbing new characteristics. They're destabilizing entire societies. They're operating almost entirely online. And they're using artificial intelligence to accelerate their capabilities beyond anything we've seen before. Let me show you exactly what this looks like in the real world with 3 shocking cases investigators uncovered. In January 2025, European authorities arrested 3 individuals for trafficking military equipment to Russia. But this wasn't just about making money. These criminals were working as proxies for a hostile foreign government. The investigation, led by Dutch prosecutor Eva Brinkman alongside teams from Germany, Latvia, and Lithuania, uncovered something EU officials are now calling the woodpecker strategy. Instead of launching one massive attack, these criminal groups carry out small, persistent acts of sabotage, each seemingly minor on its own, but devastating when combined. Like a woodpecker slowly weakening a tree, they're gradually eroding European infrastructure, security, and economies from within. But wait, it gets worse. In March 2023, authorities took down ChipMixer, a cryptocurrency service that had laundered an estimated €2.73 billion in criminal proceeds. This wasn't just about hiding dirty money, it was about creating what investigators call a parallel financial system completely outside normal banking regulations. The service turned funds into chips that erased their origin, making the money untraceable. And much of this money was linked to ransomware attacks, drug trafficking, and child exploitation. And if that wasn't disturbing enough, in February 2025, police arrested 25 people worldwide in one of the first major cases involving AI-generated abuse material. The main suspect, a Danish national, wasn't just creating this horrific content. He had built an online community of 1,500 members who shared techniques on using AI to evade detection. These cases reveal a fundamental transformation that European authorities are calling the changing DNA of crime. The traditional boundaries between criminal networks, hostile foreign actors, and technology experts have completely collapsed, creating hybrid threats unlike anything law enforcement has faced before. The hidden patterns. What makes these new criminal threats so dangerous isn't just their sophistication, it's their invisibility. Pattern 1. The most frightening aspect isn't what these criminals are doing, it's how they've fundamentally changed their approach to avoid detection. Take the woodpecker strategy we just discussed. The red flag everyone missed? The strategic pattern. These weren't random crimes motivated purely by profit. They were synchronized actions designed to erode European security systems over time. Law enforcement was looking for big, obvious attacks, while these criminals were carrying out dozens of smaller operations that only made sense when viewed together. Pattern number 2. Criminal networks are connecting previously separate criminal ecosystems. The report documents cases where professional money launderers serve both drug cartels and state-backed hackers. The same service provider who helps hide profits from cocaine trafficking might also be concealing funds for foreign intelligence operations targeting critical infrastructure. Pattern number 3, perhaps most disturbing, is how they're weaponizing our own innovations against us. When authorities discovered the Danish national using AI to generate abusive content, they uncovered something far more sinister than a lone criminal. He had created what investigators described as an exclusive community, a network of criminals teaching each other how to leverage cutting-edge technology to commit crimes that were previously impossible. This brings us to the most urgent question. What are the patterns we're still missing? If criminal networks are already using AI, cryptocurrencies, and encrypted platforms so effectively, what's next? According to the EU report, we're just seeing the beginning of a fundamental transformation in how crime operates. But here's where it gets personal. These sophisticated criminal networks aren't just targeting governments or big corporations. They're going after ordinary people like you and me. They're exploiting the digital footprints we leave every day, turning our convenience into vulnerability. And most of us have no idea we're even at risk. So, what can you do to protect yourself? That's what we're going to cover next. Lessons learned and how to protect ourselves. The good news is that you can take practical steps today to significantly reduce your vulnerability to these evolving threats. But it requires a new security mindset, one that recognizes how the criminal landscape has fundamentally changed. First, implement what security experts call digital compartmentalization. Create separate email accounts and strong, unique passwords for your financial activities versus your social ones. For example, the email you use for banking should never be the same one you use for social media or online shopping. This simple separation prevents a breach in one area from cascading into your entire digital life. Think of it like fire breaks in a forest, containing potential damage before it spreads. Second, and this might surprise you, embrace transparency in your digital transactions. While privacy is important, services emphasizing complete anonymity are increasingly being exploited for criminal purposes. Legitimate platforms offer both security and accountability. When you see services advertising that they leave no trace whatsoever, that's not a feature, it's a warning sign. For example, if a crypto exchange doesn't require any verification but promises complete anonymity, that's exactly the kind of service criminals use to launder money, as we saw with ChipMixer. Finally, develop what investigators call pattern recognition thinking. Criminal networks rely on our tendency to see incidents as isolated events rather than connected patterns. Start asking yourself, How might this strange email, that unusual phone call, and the recent news about data breaches potentially be connected? This mental framework, seeing relationships where others see coincidence, is exactly how investigators finally unraveled these complex criminal operations. Let me give you a real example from the EU report. A woman received an email about an account problem. The same week, her bank announced a small data breach. She dismissed them as unrelated until she realized the email came just 48 hours after the breach was announced, just enough time for criminals to prepare a targeted phishing campaign. By recognizing the pattern, she avoided clicking the link that would have given criminals access to her account. The hard truth is that crime isn't just changing, it has already transformed. But by understanding these new patterns, protecting our digital boundaries, and staying vigilantly aware, we can adapt faster than the criminals evolving to target us. In a future video, we'll explore exactly how these criminal networks are recruiting young people through gaming platforms and social media, and what parents need to know to keep their children safe. The techniques they're using are sophisticated, targeted, and nearly invisible unless you know exactly what to look for. If you want to stay one step ahead of these evolving threats, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our upcoming content. Your digital safety, and possibly your family's, might depend on it. Remember, in this new era of crime, awareness is your first line of defense. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and stay safe.